there, my name is Harrison Greenough. I'm a realtor in Maryland, and I'm making a video series here to help you guys figure out how to put in a really strong offer and, in general, what the offer contains, and explain each document so that you fully understand it before you sign those documents, and to help, for example, buyers and sellers that are working without an agent to understand them, because ultimately, although I am a real estate agent and I write these contracts every day, I want you guys to have the ability to understand them even if you aren't using an agent. So look through our videos, rewind them, replay them, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me directly. Thanks, and let's get started. Disclosure of inclusions, exclusions, leased items, and utilities addendum. This is the October 2022 update. This primarily goes over what the seller is going to be including when it transfers to the new buyer. So if the buyer, for example, sees during their first tour of the property, they see, some things hanging on the wall, they see a chandelier, maybe there's a special decoration or things like that. If it's attached to the property, generally the seller needs to understand that that's part of the property, and if it's not going to be there when the buyer takes occupancy, they need to disclose that and then be sure to repair any damages they caused by removing it. Anything that is not attached to the property, the buyer needs to be aware that it's generally considered chattel, which is not considered real property, it's considered personal property. So if it's not affixed to the walls or something along those lines, if it's not part of the property, generally it's considered a personal item, and if it is, it's generally considered part of the real property. So if there's something that seems like it might stay but definitely isn't going to be staying, the seller needs to go ahead and put this here, and if there are things that seem like they should stay but the seller is explicitly going to be taking, they need to put that here as well. So upon execution by buyer and seller, this document will become an addendum to the contract of sale. This is disclosure from the seller to the buyer. So whenever the date of the disclosure was made, generally it's the date of the contract of sale, addendum to the contract of sale dated. It may be the same date, may be different. Between the buyer's full name is stated in the contract of sale, and seller, the seller's full name is stated in the contract of sale for the property known as the full address as stated in the contract of sale. Item 1. Inclusions and exclusions. Included in the purchase price are all permanently attached fixtures, including all smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors as applicable. Other now existing items which may be considered personal property as stated before, whether installed or stored upon the property, are now included if the box below is checked. So here are some items that are generally considered part of the property, but if there is some type of clarification needed in which that one of these items is not going to be included, remember the seller must select that here. So say you have ceiling fans, you've got a clothes dryer, you have some dishwasher, maybe you have a freezer, garage openers, you got screens, some TV antennas, maybe you have a trash compactor. You're going to mark whatever items, and there will generally be multiple. You'll mark whatever items you're including. If none are marked, then you'll need to go ahead and put that as a note, but you'll need to put whatever it is that is going to be included here. So if nothing is checked here, it will be assumed that those items are not going to be included. So as a seller, you'll need to go through and check what you intend to leave. So whatever it is that you're going to include with the property of sale, you'll need to check here. There are also spaces to add how many of these items that will be included. So say you have 2 refrigerators, you'll need to put both the check mark for the refrigerators and then put the number 2, which you might want to spell out, and then put the actual digit in parentheses to be sure it's extra clear. But we'll go ahead and put whatever we're including. If it's not listed, you can go ahead and put it in the inclusions area. You'll write it down, separate it by commas, and then any additional exclusions which are not going to be included. So if there are additional exclusions, you'll put them below. If there are any additional exclusions, you'll write them on that line there. Item 2, leased items included. So you'll put whatever items you are currently leasing. A lot of times there aren't any items that are being leased, at which point you'll just leave it empty, or put ideally the word none or strike through it just to be clear that there's no leased items, to be sure that the buyer knows that there are no leased items. Now, if you have solar panels, you may be dealing with a leased item here. An alarm system or fuel tank or things like that you intend to leave that you are currently leasing, you need to put that there because there are sometimes a great deal of difficulty involved in figuring out how to transfer these items to the new owner. Solar panels, for example, are a great case because they may be expensive and difficult to remove from the property, and if the new buyer does not want those solar panels, that may be something that ends up being the seller's expense, so be aware of that. If there are any other terms regarding the leased items, you'll need to put that here in this box. Item 3, utilities, water, sewage, heating, and air conditioning. So this is where you put what your current utilities are. So you'll put the supply of water and the sewage supply. You'll put public or well, public or septic. Heating, You'll put whether it's gas, electric, oil, heat pump, or if it's another, you'll put whatever that is. Hot water the same, and then air conditioning also the same. So you'll want to mark whatever those utilities are being used from and just disclose that here. All other terms and conditions of the contract of sale remain in full force and effect, and the buyers and the sellers will sign and date. Thanks again for watching. If you have any questions or you would like to talk about potentially buying or selling a property, please feel free to contact me. My information is below and I would love to reach out to you and talk. So feel free to contact me and have a great rest of your day.